What do we have? What do you want to talk about? You have so many contracts that, I mean, just choose which one do you want to talk about, man.
Shoot, I mean, we can start off from like the most recent ones that we've had. So let's see. We had one actually yesterday. It's funny. I was on so typically on Tuesdays I have a sales training with my VA. I had some personal stuff to take care of, so we moved it on to yesterday, Wednesday. And we were in the role play. It's funny because what the focus of the role play was, we were just talking, and then while I was talking to her, I was getting a call from a seller. I said, "Hey, Michael, give me a second. Let me, seller calling me back." And she's like, "Hey, listen, sorry I missed your call. I've been really busy, yada yada." Mind you, this was the first call, right? I hadn't spoken to her. I had tried to reach out to her, but first time I connected with her, it was about a 15-20 minute call. And essentially, it was a seller. She inherited a property. The property is pretty much vacant. There's nothing she wants to do. Like, there's nothing to do with it. She wants to sell it for a fair price. So on that call, I, put her through a sales process and everything, and determined that she was ready to move forward. I got it under contract while I was, while my VA was still listening to my call on Zoom. And that essentially was that one was a one call close. We got her under contract, the same. I called her, 15-minute call. I told her, give me about 5-10 minutes, I'll call you back. We'll go through the contract together. And sure enough, I called her back, she picked up, and we got that one under contract. Previous to that one, we have another seller who's actually so she was more of a easier, I guess, if you will, right, in a sense, because no attachment to it. She doesn't live there, it's vacant, right? The previous one to that, a seller that filled in the web form, he had recently lost his job. He's behind on payments. He's like going through it, right? He's essentially doesn't have any income, and he's behind on payments. Hadn't ha Isn't in the pre-foreclosure process yet, but it's only a matter of time. Called him that day, understood his situation. Listen, I don't have anything. I lost my job. I don't have any income. I'm behind. I need to sell. All right. We talked about it. That was probably like a 30-40 minute call. And thankfully that one also, we got it under contract on that same first call, because I understood the urgency behind this individual. And he was already looking at another rental to move into, and he kind of needed to make sure that he can secure that rental before somebody else took it. So it was in his best interest to just move forward, just rip the band-aid off, and get the process going, right? So like the last two deals have been, thankfully, somebody that we can service, fairly easy. And yeah, man, I mean, we have a couple more stories, aside of those, but those were the last two
Wow.
lockups that we've had.
Maybe let's dig a little bit deeper into those two situations. So talk about the first one first. How do you analyze the deal? I mean, it seems like your process has a really good. I mean, you have a really good way of really digging deeper into understanding what's going on, and the sellers feel comfortable enough to share that with you super fast. That seems to be um
My strong suit,
your
yeah,
strong suit. Yeah.
yeah, I feel like, with my personality type, there's no, like, I wouldn't say my personality type is the best personality type to you know to get deals and things like that, or talk to people. It's just more or less of the individual situation, how you come off, right? So for me, it's easy to have people to want to talk to me, to like me for the most part. I don't really have, I mean, I do have sellers that they just don't want to talk. They're really short with you, and everybody has that, right? But somebody who's willing to talk, somebody who's willing to kind of put their cards on the table. I mean, for me, I find that really easy, just because I don't go into this full sales mode, if you will. At least in their eyes, I go into it more of an understanding, compassionate type of way, where I'm trying to understand, right? Because one of my things when I speak to them is, listen, I want to, first of all, I want to see if if you working with us would make sense for you, and vice versa, right? If us working with you would make sense for us. It has to be a win-win for both of us. Otherwise, like, I'm not gonna waste your time, brother. I want to point
Mhm.
you in the right direction if that's what I have to do, right? But at the very least, like, let me just understand what's going on to see if I would be a good fit. And then automatically, they'll tend to open up. And honestly, man, just asking questions is really what it is, man. Tough. Sometimes I guess you can consider them tough questions, or maybe just in personal or invasive questions. Maybe some people would feel they're personal or invasive, but I just ask away, man, and people tend to open up to me for the most part.
You seem to be setting up really good expectations and then just making seem natural that you need to ask those questions. That's it.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, you came to me. It wasn't I who came to you. So that's also the beauty of inbound leads, right?
Yeah, that's what I love about it, man. It's like because back then when we were doing outbound marketing, it's like, oh, you guys called me. You guys, what's your offer? This, and that. Now it's like I had one seller tell me, why are you calling me? I'm like, hey, John, you've reached out to us saying you wanted to sell your property, so that's why I'm calling you. Is that not accurate? Oh yeah, yeah. Just go, well. So it's kind of like that. You know what I'm saying? You guys reached out to us, and I'm here to see how we can help.
Pretty simple, man. Can you talk about those two deals? How you analyze them, like the numbers and the strategies and everything?
Truthfully, man, so the first one, this lead was in Georgia, in a city I don't think we've ever done a deal there. And the way I analyze it, man, it's funny because I didn't dig too deep into comps or anything like that, because typically when I'm on a call with the seller and I need to find out the numbers, we have a Slack channel between the team where I put the property address, and then the team will try to get me comps as soon as possible so I can make my offer. With this lady, it was more or less of, okay, I looked it up briefly. I saw what the ARV was. I saw what other investors were buying in the area for. And then she had mentioned, oh, somebody offered me this amount, but I didn't take it because they were trying to
Mm.
justify why they needed to be so low. And I'm like, well, to tell you the truth, man, I think look, and I said, we're in December. We're looking to purchase a couple more properties before the end of the year. So we're being a little bit aggressive on what we're able to offer. We're willing to overpay by a little bit of this time of year. But I think that the other gentleman that you were talking to, I could see where he's coming from, because other investors are buying at this, they're buying at that, right? But just for the sake of us being able to kind of, put some numbers on the board for us and be able to help you out, I'm willing to pay you this much. And it was only $2,500 above what the other wholesaler tried to get them under contract for. And there seems to be a gross spread of about, so ARV on that property is like 170, 180, and I got her under contract for 62.5. It's one of those things where, you know, I didn't have to analyze it too much because it's already over $100,000 discount from the ARV, right? If I have to come back and renegotiate because of X, Y, and Z, maybe it'll only be 10, 15,000 versus if I would have offered her 80, $90,000 and now have to discount her $40,000, right? So for me, it was just one of those things where, it just made sense. The numbers made sense. Let's shoot our shot. And worst case scenario, we have to renegotiate, which is we don't have a problem doing, is renegotiating with the sellers whenever we need to. So that one was easy to analyze, you know.
Cool, man. Cool, cool, cool. And the other one, if you don't mind.
The other one is actually in a market. So that particular market got impacted by the hurricane heavily, right? We hadn't done many deals there. It's here in Florida, in a good area. It's a good market. We just haven't really had done many deals there. After the hurricane around November, September, October, November time, we had a lot of leads coming from that particular little pocket. You're talking about a couple mile radius, right? So we started understanding what the market is saying in that area. So when this guy came in, I already had an idea of what the demand in that area was, that it was a good area. And when I was on the phone with him, so he told me his price. He said, look, I owe this much, I'm behind this much. I just would like 15, $20,000 in my pocket
Wow.
to walk. So
Mhm.
I didn't make him an offer, right? He told me that, and I looked at it and I'm like, you know what? Listen, John, I think we can do that. I think we can do that. I think we can make it work. if I would to make him an offer, if he would have told me, "Hey, Abner, make me an offer. Let me see what I would have offered him $15,000 to $20,000 above what we ended up going under contract with. But because I allowed him to tell me, right, what
Mhm.
his situation was, what he was looking to get out of it, it allowed me to be able to, you know what, John, I think we can make it happen. I think we can make it happen. Let's get the ball rolling. And
Mhm.
sure enough, I mean, it was, though, when after we got it under contract, it was one of those deals that day
Mhm.
one, we had a ton of buyers, a ton of interested buyers bidding on it, bidding on it, bidding on it. And we just ended up going with what we felt was the more reliable buyer, right? And to underwrite that one, I mean, it was a no-brainer because when I looked in the area, and we have a calculator as well. So
Mhm.
while I'm doing all this stuff and I'm talking to the sellers, I see what the ARV is, and I already have a calculator where all I have to plug in is the ARV and the repair cost, and then it'll shoot me all the offers that I can give.
Mhm.
So when I did that, I seen boom, okay, the offer I think it was like 160. My maximum allowable offer was 160. And before I told him my number, he said, "Listen, I'm willing to walk with like so." Him walking away with 20,000 would mean that we would buy it at 140.
Mhm.
So I was able to immediately say, okay, my maximum allowable offer is 160. He wants 140. Say no more. We'll get it done.
Mhm.
You
Cool,
know.
man. Cool. So, can you summarize them real quick? So the first one you locked it up for 62.5,
62.5 ARV is like 175, 180.
but
We're still assessing the rehab on it. So
Mhm.
maybe 40, 50,000, right? But I
Mhm.
think I think it's a good deal. It's a good deal. I mean,
Mhm.
you're probably going to be all in like 110, 120. You resell for 170, let's just say, you're probably making like a 30, 35, $40,000 profit as the buyer, as a flipper. For the
Yeah.
second one, we got it under contract for 140. We dispo'd it for 161, I believe it was.
Wow.
And then the ARV on that property is like two, almost 300. It's like 280, 290. I don't remember clearly, but it's like high 200s, you know?
The one that I remember the first one you talked to me about, the one that is looks like a pretty good deal that you haven't disputed. I remember it was from this week, I believe, like on Wednesday or something.
It came in a couple of days ago, and then I tried reaching out, I think for like 2 days, and she wasn't picking up. And then she finally called me back yesterday.
Yesterday. Okay.
But yeah, that lead came in. Matter of fact, I'll be able to tell you right here.
Yeah. I mean, just to have an idea, it's just because I want to ask about the other one. The other one is also from this week.
Uh, let's see. So the first one was on the 16th, which was Monday. The other one was December the 4th. So what is that? A week or two ago? A week
Cool.
ago?
That's a good December so far. And
Yeah,
and I don't think and we didn't, I mean, you've been focused on converting deals for like the past maybe 2 months. So it's been a while since the last time you and I talked, Abner. I've been talking
mm-hmm.
to Jason. But that's amazing, man, that you're out there in the trenches making money, like bringing revenue. You seem so much excited and passionate about these things, bro. I mean, that's pretty cool, man.
Yeah, brother. Yeah, man. I mean, this is in the process of us doing all this, we actually took on a fix and flip, between us. It went
Mhm.
well, so we kind of have like a now we have an additional I guess goal, if you will, start getting into the fix and flip stuff. So I mean, when leads are coming in, we're excited to see if what we can cherry pick, because we can
Mhm.
wholesale, we can wholesale to ourselves and buy it. It's just, like, I mean, I'm excited. I'm excited.
Is novations also a big part of what you guys are gonna be keep doing it in 2025?
Yeah, we're gonna continue to push it. I think right now we have, what is it, my boy, three novations, two, three,
Mhm.
Yeah, we have three right now.
three
Cool.
novations right now, that we've been working on. We're still trying to find a way to optimize certain things because it's been a little bit of a there's a
Yeah,
delay with the sellers and the access and all that stuff, and
that makes
therefore like,
sense.
but yeah, we're gonna keep pushing novations as well, and
Yeah.
also creative finance.
Cool.
That's not our bread and butter, at least not my bread and butter to do creative
Mhm.
finance, but thankfully we have people that in our network that are willing
Mhm.
to work on that for us. So we have a lead that's willing to consider seller finance. We have
Mhm.
experts that are willing to talk to them and make sure that they can
Yeah.
structure it properly, things like that.
Let me tell you something real quick, Abner and Jason, both of you guys. Yesterday, for some brief time, Jason was there in the sales training. They were talking a little bit about this lady that does a lot of innovation deals. What was her mindset? And I think she said it in a way that I like it. I mean, she didn't. She said that she doesn't push innovations as if it's something extremely different, like, oh, the most innovative thing in the world. No, but she pushes it as like, okay, so you're coming to me because you need a cash offer. I can give you the same benefits of a cash offer. I just need to do it this way, right? And she just pushes the overall benefits of innovations. Um, so I feel that confidence. I've been talking to my team about this, and I talk about this concept of like being a one-stop shop company. Like,
Mhm.
and you proved that to me today because you didn't your last two deals, you didn't come in and say, yeah, I'm able to get more deals under contract because I'm now doing novations, which is what a lot of people think novations is for. They think there's no people out there giving good discounts, so all they can do is novations. But that's not what novations really is for. Novations, in my opinion, is you have another card that you can use if you have to, right? I mean, not every single
100%.
deal is. I mean, at the end of the day, you guys are investors. Those guys need cash offers. You guys come with this results-based mindset. So you guys are gonna give the solution that is gonna give results the fastest. That's it. That's it.
Exactly.
Simple as that,
Exactly.
right? So I feel like that's also a big portion of you guys' confidence because you're like, okay, I'm gonna try this. If it doesn't work, then maybe innovations. But you guys are not defaulting to that option from the very beginning.
No, we're always cash, novation, creative,
Yeah.
pitch it out to a realtor, like whatever, like at the end of the day, right? Like what we were talking about earlier, what are their needs and their wants? Maybe what we're able to do isn't necessarily the best solution for them, but let's find a way to do something with it, and
Yeah.
I mean, it's not rocket science. It's
The best
it's
solution is what something considers to be the best solution. That's it.
all subjective. Yeah.
I think a lot of people, exactly, subjective. A lot of people overthink that. And they're like, I'm going to give a silly example. um, I'm seeing this show, Property Brothers, in which it's called Buying and Selling. And that show, they come in, put in $10,000 in renovations and staging for the. I think that the $10,000 is for mostly for renovations, and the guys help with the staging a lot because that's pretty cheap. Staging is not so cheap. I don't think so. I mean, especially if you're also renovating, right? But the guy put like $10,000 in renovations. They help a little bit with the staging, and then they sell the house for $30,000, $40,000 more. But not every house you can do that. Like not every house with a few changes and renovations. And how are they gonna do that? You guys are not gonna offer that service. They will need to find it themselves in a different way, right? And do they have the capabilities of project management to make that happen? I mean, no. I mean, there's a lot of things in the way from the. I mean, you shouldn't be analyzing each deal as if they're from that show, because that would be a lie. See what I'm saying?
Those numbers are ridiculous. I know what you're talking about.
Oh, okay. So you don't think those numbers? I mean, I'm not an expert, so I just watch the show for entertaining. Buying and selling.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, what I've seen in the past, I haven't watched it in a while, but what I've seen in the past, they'll say like, we bought it for 200,000, we put 50,000 into it, we sell it for 300, and we make $50,000 profit. It's not. There's a lot of hidden costs, soft costs, holding costs.
Mhm.
There's a bunch of things. So they, because
You're right.
and it's funny too because I sometimes use that that example with some of my sellers when they try to count my pockets. Listen, you're gonna buy it to me off for 200,000. You're only gonna put 30K into it, and you're gonna sell it for 250. You're gonna make $20,000 and this and that and this and that. And I'm like, well, you probably watched that on HGTV, didn't you, Mr. Seller? Oh, what do you mean? Well, and then I explained to them, look, they make it sound all nice and pretty, but the reality is it's not that. And then I explained to them, look, when we do this, it's XYZ. This is what it costs money to get money. It costs money to do everything pretty much. It costs money to sell. It costs money to hold. It costs money to buy. It costs money to do everything in this business. You know what I'm saying? And that's if everything goes perfectly 100% according to plan, we may make this amount. But think about it like this, what if this happens and now we got to spend $10,000, right? And then not to mention, we're going to have to sell the property and pay X amount of percent. So at the end of the day, I would never buy this deal to make the numbers that you're saying, because I'm going to lose money, right? A lot of people don't understand that. And some people will be like, okay, that makes sense.
I'm glad that I touched based on HGTV, because I was able to listen to how much you believe in what you offer. Like, you believe in your solution. I mean, at the end of the day, that's what you have control over. You don't have control over a lot of different things from these sellers, but you have control over the solution. That's it. And if it's good for them, then you guys are a good fit. That's it. Guys, really good conversation. Anything you guys want to add? I know Jason is listening to us, but I don't know if you guys want to add anything before we wrap up here. We've been here for like 30 minutes. Oh my God, more.
Yeah, I mean, more than anything, just to reiterate on this part of the conversation. So like, I guess for like the other clients, especially like if they're newer and like this is just like from conversations that this is from stuff that we noticed, because obviously, we're putting in offers and we're trying to buy properties. And then like from like our buyers who are like actually buyers who buy from wholesalers, and like all the common trait of like that people don't like from wholesalers is that they don't never know how to run their numbers. But because they never take into account all the other extra expenses that run into acquisitions and disposition of a deal, whether you're gonna flip it, right? All of that, whatever you're gonna do, right? Because there's holding costs, there's closing costs, there's two sides to closing costs. There's the A and B side, which is like when they buy it from us or whatever, right? There's that close, or when they're buying it directly from the seller. Most times the perks of the cash offer is that you're gonna pay for their closing costs. So you got to take care of their costs, your own costs, and then on the when you're done flipping it, you got to pay your own closing costs, and then the whole cost with the city water, city sewer, electricity. You got to pay, if you use hard money, you got to pay money to get the hard money. You got to pay points, you got to pay interest, right? You got to pay, obviously when you're using contractors or rehabbers or whoever you're using, right? All that cost is kind of already built in. But like, what if there's something else that breaks, or that we didn't account for that? Now you got to spend extra money. So all of this, like, you have to take all of it into account. And like a lot of like newer people, or people that even if they have been in the game for a while, but all they've ever done is wholesale, they don't understand the actual hard cost on the back end, and then they just try to lock up anything and try to shoot it out. It's like, bro, like, you're just giving yourself a bad name, because it shows that you're not credible, that you don't really know what you're doing. Or even if you do know what you're doing, but it's just like you don't know what you're doing, but at a high, like, you know it at a mediocre level, not at a high level. And so I feel like wholesalers, especially if they're newer, or even if mostly newer guys, they should definitely try to take time to understand what are the intricacies on the deals, right? Like, money wise, because then it'll help you formulate your offer and be realistic with the seller when like this is what actually costs. And then you have like you'll have the como, like, how do you say, like, you'll have that confidence behind it, like, this is why it has to be this price because of X, Y, and Z. And like Abner said, they'll understand. Like, guys that understand will understand. Oh, okay, I get it.
It's like experience gives you confidence in what the heck you're doing and what solutions you're bringing to the table. That's it. Experience and also not giving up. And we started this conversation super randomly by talking about the power of one more. So I mean, you guys have done the journey, and you guys have a lot of the lessons, and you guys are living through those lessons, and you guys are proof that those lessons work. So I'm excited for you guys, and I mean, looking forward to an amazing 2025.
Yeah, 2025.
Same.
Alright, we get busy, man.
It's gonna be busy. Awesome, man. Awesome. Good stuff, guys. So let's just stop this for a moment.